right, so it is an honor to be here with Coach Ray. He is so impactful, like not just in the community, but in people's personal lives, from starting your own business to being active within the mental health community to even being an author that wrote your own book. So it's just truly an honor to have you here on the podcast and to be interviewing you.
I'm blessed, I'm humble. I appreciate you.
Welcome to the Lions Den.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so first question, just to open us up, tell me a little bit about yourself. So everything you do, give me a little rundown.
All right, cool. So again, my name is Ray Gray, affectionately known as Coach Ray. And I'm in this space, man. I just exist because I want to help. And what I mean by that is growing up in a Caribbean household, I had a lot of siblings and my house was a little packed and stuff like that, meaning family. You know, grew up with a lot of family. And to be honest, it was an experience where from the youngest age, I was taught to go for what I wanted. And what I mean by that was, at the time, I was one of the younger ones. I had a younger brother, G, you know G. And, you know, I felt like being the middle child of my mom and my dad. My younger brother, I felt like he was babied a lot, like he, you know what I'm saying, got a lot of the attention. My older sister, Karen, you know, she was in a space where she did what she wanted to do because, again, she's the older one, and I felt like she had a lot more freedoms. And then there I was with the middle child syndrome. So in my mind, I convinced myself that I had to fight a lot. I convinced myself that I had to compete a lot. I convinced myself with being in New York, in, you know, that space that I was in, that I had to do a lot of things in order to get so-called attention. That not just translated to just the home, but also in the streets, at school, in the community, in sports. So I went above and beyond to make a name for myself, and I just did a lot. So that's the foundation of where I am and how I got to this space. So when you say, who am I and how did I get here? It's a simple fact that from the youngest years that I can remember, being a very active child with middle child syndrome, wanting to get attention, that me convincing myself I had to fight a lot, I did the most. And what that led me to was trying to be the best that I could be in every single thing that I did. I always wanted to rise to the top, but I also was told that I was bad. Not because the core of who I was evil, but I was super active, really mischievous, had a lot of questions with not a lot of answers. So I sought to, again, get attention by doing things that would demand people to stop, pay attention to me. And I was told I was bad a lot by the people that loved me the most. At a young, tender age, I did not know that they were talking about my behavior and the things that I was doing. I thought they were talking about me. So if you love me and say that I'm bad, I'm gonna do bad things because you wouldn't lie to me, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
So that what led you to the mental health realm?
That's what led me into this space that I'm in now, because I would love to say I went into this field and I started doing what I wanted to do to save the world and make the world a better place. I was being selfish and I wanted to find out what was wrong with me, what made me bad. So I went on the journey of, my mom said, because I was a nurturing, caring person and kids loved me, she thought that it would be a good idea to go into nursing. So from a young age, I was geared into the helping field and space. I just didn't know what that was. So I did listen and I tried to enter into the space of nursing, but it just wasn't me. What I did enjoy was the brain, how it operated, how people thought, and behavior. So I pivoted into child psychology because I love the kids and I did child psychology. That's when my ADHD showed up. Did not know what it was, didn't have a name or a definition to it. So I found out in college that I did have ADHD, got diagnosed around 21, 22, and that's when life started and began for me. The reason why I say that is because I was not labeled, I got defined. It was a definition, it was closure, it was a mind-blowing thing that, wow, I know now what was going on from the earliest years that made me feel and think the way that I did, and I was able to make sense of it and have definition and closure. So in short, I went on this journey, and I'm here as a representative of I have ADHD, ADHD does not have me. I embraced it, but rather than having it suppress me and hold me down, I took it in and I made it something that I was gonna use not as a disability, but as an ability for me to show up and do things that other people can't. So I don't require as much sleep, I don't require as much attention anymore, because I'm comfortable in my skin and in the space that I'm in, authentically knowing who I am and moving on the purpose that God gave me.
Now, has that led you, like, where did the transition happen from you going into the mental health space in order to find out more about yourself to helping others? Where did that passion change?
So again, from a young age, my mom saw that I was a helper and I was a caretaker to some degree. So from the youngest age, I always wanted to help. I always wanted to take care of something. Matter of fact, my mom being a nurse, we had a unique situation where we had live-in patients. So the people who my mom was taking care of as a nurse lived in our home. So all of us, matter of fact, we were tasked with doing different things for that individual to help them out. Yeah. They had mental health challenges. So I knew from a young age that I loved doing that and helping. Just to what capacity and to what degree, that didn't make sense. And I was not sure until later on, where I was just like, you know what? Because I was so good at not academics and not the books, but at sports, that's where I channeled my energy to release some of my aggression, anger, confusion. I turned to sports. So now the love of sports and helping, God allowed me to fuse those two together and make sense of not only who I am, but what I do. And what I do is I show up to help people so that they can help themselves.
I love that. Yeah. So going into the mental health space was kind of like a
journey for me, for real.
It was a journey for you, but it was also like a two birds, one stone type of thing, where you were able to find out more about yourself, but also live that passion of helping others.
Absolutely. So I often tell people I don't come from a learned experience, I come from a lived experience. So, being from, New York, you understand how game recognizes game. Well, I'm in a space where pain recognizes pain. So when I walk in a room, the greatest compliment I ever received was when a kid told me that they felt me before they even saw me. I didn't know what that meant until they broke it down, until we started to unpack and share with one another. He was just like, I just knew that you were the person for me and that someone was coming to help. I didn't know what you would look like. I didn't know when it was coming, but the moment you started entering into the space of the room, I just knew you were the one, and I felt you before I even saw you. Man, that just meant the world to me. And I kept that with me. And I now understand when people say that you kind of just grew into this space where you just got connected to people. I fully understand that.
And I feel like at one point you told me the place you connect the most with people is on a basketball court, on a volleyball court, in sports. Can you tell me a little bit more about how your journey from mental health to starting your own business with Grayhound, or was it simultaneously? How did you get into starting your own business?
Okay, great question. So again, growing up, I always had to compete. I didn't know the competition would have turned to sports. I was competing in my family. I felt like, because being the middle child and all the other things that I spoke about earlier, and I just thought that I always had to compete. So I had a competitive nature just from being around my siblings. Healthy competition, but competition nonetheless. Again, second thing was the fact that I was not great in the classroom and with books because of the ADHD that I did not know that I had. I sought to release through sports, through various different. I wanted to learn how to do a backflip. My parents couldn't afford to put me in gymnastics. I taught myself. I wanted to play basketball. We couldn't afford the basketball goal. I wasn't allowed to go out and play in the neighborhood. So I took a crate, a milk crate, before your time, you wouldn't understand.
No.
A square part, and nailed it on the tree, taught myself how to play basketball.
Okay.
So no was not a way to tell me to stop or to prevent me. It was a way for me to figure stuff out for myself. So I loved the challenge. I loved the competition that fueled me. And it was also a space where I vented. So sports, activities was my therapist. And that was a space that I was able to, all those things that was told to me, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, played in my head, and I let it out and released it there. While at the same time being a natural caretaker, because my mom was, and she forced it into me and told me how to take care of other people and insisted that I do the same and pay it forward. So the two kind of just smoothly just transitioned one to another. The competitive nature of me wanting to compete, finding sports as my therapist and an out, being a caretaker in my own right and a nurturer that I didn't even know, and putting it all together, it only made sense that God wanted me to get into the space. So now I tell people, I don't work a job, I live a passion that aligns with my purpose. Because I believe that I was literally, made to do what I'm doing. I didn't know, I couldn't have told you this, that this was the path and the journey that I would be on. It just happened so seamlessly to the point where I was doing mental health coaching, counseling, and so on and so forth with a company. The kids were telling me that the way that I was doing it, according to what they told me to do, wasn't working. I knew that it wasn't working because I too suffer with some of the things that the kids suffer with. And I kept going back and telling them, hey, this is what they said. I don't believe, and I feel, and interjecting and giving advice and input. They weren't listening. So why am I going to continue to tell you what the direct client is telling me is not working and what they need? And I'm telling you, the caretaker, and you're not listening. So I had to walk away. It was the only right thing to do, because then I wouldn't be true to who I am in that space, and I would be not good for my kids. Because remember, the two most honest groups of people are drunks and kids. No filter, no inhibition. They're going to tell you like it is. And they was telling me, nah, I'm not feeling that. Nah, that's not what it is. And I was going back and reporting. So spoke to God, we had a conversation, and I had to pivot and move away and do it the way that I know works for me, or that I wanted when I was a kid. And what the kids have been telling me all along that they need, not just want, but that they need, and that would feed them better. So it's only right that I pivoted, and now I do mental health using or through sports to get the better outcome that all along they've been asking me for.
I love that. So I feel like we got the seeds. We got the passion to help others, your intro to mental health in that space, your intro to sports. Now, when we put it all together, we grew a plant, that plant being Grayhound Group. Tell me specifically about what Grayhound Group is, what it does, and how all of those things feed into the business.
I love that plan analogy, and you're absolutely right. So my company is called the Grayhound Group, and outside of that is the Grayhounds Training Academy. So the overall arching theme of the Grayhound Group is brain, body, behavior. Right. So the brain, the mental toughness, the mindset, the mindfulness, the ability to understand that I need to really be present for what I'm doing. Think about what's happening and just be able to say, you know what? I'm not okay. And it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. But you won't know that things aren't okay or that something is better if you live in the space where everything is always the same and the quality mindset and all of those things. So I teach kids how to make sure that they're paying attention to themselves and knowing what they want differently and what that would look like. Then we have the body side. That's the most basic. Footwork, agility, conditioning, timing, speed, the vertical, the ins and out of the sport itself to make one's body better. What better is, it depends on an individual and what their goals are, what they're trying to apply, right? Obtain. That's also diet. That's also, sleep, and those things that will make us a better physical, a space to house, what have you, right? Then we have the behavior. So I hold everyone accountable for not just what you do on the court, but off the court. So I teach kids how to make certain that they're planning what they want to do and planning out the days. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So you have to make sure that you always are putting something in motion for this is what I want to do, and that helps to build the intentionality. And that's pretty much just what it is. It's the brain, the body, and behavior. Holding you accountable. I'm speaking to your parents. I'm speaking to your teachers. If you have therapists, I'm speaking to your therapist, asking them, hey, what are the needs? This is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Can we put it together so that this individual, through this sport, is able to make things make sense and work for them in a way that they are comfortable and that they need.
I love this, but that brought up some additional questions. But before I get into those questions, I want you to just give yourself a shout out real quick on what is this geared towards? What sport is it specifically geared toward? What type of people should join Grayhound Group? How can, they get a benefit or connect with you in Grayhound?
Okay, cool. So the Grayhound Group, we do all sports, but primarily I would say 98% of our clients are volleyball players, and female volleyball players specifically. So God blessed me with 2 daughters, and the Grayhound Group, to be honest, happened, you want to say by mistake, but it grew out of the space of me training my daughters. So I was just training them, in the backyard, in the garage, doing different things, and they were really getting good and, just continuing to grow and develop in a wonderful space. Their friends were just like, wow, what is it that you do and how you got here? And they were really good at volleyball and all things, but volleyball was the one thing that they really, really took on to. And they just kept telling their friends, and their friends kept coming by the house, asking me to train them. And it started in the garage. So I started training in the garage, had about 50 clients and was doing that. Traffic got too much. My wife was just like, this is crazy. The neighbors were complaining a little bit. So I was like, okay, cool. So I found a space that I had to expand and grow into. So started doing that. And 100% word of mouth is how the Grayhounds expanded to 900 clients around the globe. And it was just organic. And I believe that's the best advertisement that one can put out there. I could do the social media, I could do the TikTok, the Insta, but it was the word of mouth that really got me to. And I didn't go on social media until last year when my kids begged me to, in order to, share the gift of training through the world. So, in long and short again, I started with my kids, started for my own love of volleyball. I played USAV volleyball on the youngest level in New York, and I just continue to go, and I still compete up to this day, and I just love volleyball. So I use that as a space to not just get better physically and to, again, condition the body, but also condition the mind. So when we're on the volleyball court, we are talking about behavior. We're definitely talking about your body and what it is that you're doing. And I'm also allowing them to use that court, that field, that space for a safe environment to share, to dump, to vent, to ask questions, and to release. So that's Grayhound Group, Grayhound Group in a nutshell. And that's what we do. So you can find me now on Instagram and TikTok and all the other spaces. Just put in Grayhounds and Grayhound Group, the Grayhound Group info @gmail.com if you want to email me. That's where it is.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that I had this opportunity to interview, because even though you're my therapist,
not your therapist.
Your
mental health coach.
Mental health coach. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
You've helped me through a lot of my problems, but I think I never got the chance to hear this story. I didn't even know that Grayhound Group specialized in other sports outside of volleyball. I just always see you working with volleyball players.
Yes, for sure.
So that's awesome, and that's something I definitely want to connect with you more about. And then also the middle child syndrome. Yeah. I understand now why you were able to give me so much advice and why we relate, why we get along so well. So that's awesome. I think that I just want to say this, it truly is an honor. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the brain part of Grayhound Group, because mental health is really important, and it's something that is really critical within our society, and especially my age group, around the young adult age. So you were talking about your journey, and it reminded me a little bit about a word that you brought up often within your book. So real quick, can you hold up your book?
Absolutely.
But that word is mental toughness. What does mental toughness mean? How has it played a part in your life? And in what way do you bring that to the court?
Wow, mental toughness can present in a number of different ways. Mental toughness, how I embody it and how I encourage it is the ability to have challenges, the ability to not be 100% sure all the time, but be willing to push to find the right answers. The ability to question yourself and then seek those answers and support. The ability
to make that hoop out of that crate.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when adversity comes, to say, you know what? I could stop here, or I can keep pushing and find the solution and get help to continue to grow and to evolve into whatever space you're in. So for me, mental toughness is when you don't always have the right answers, but you're always willing to find it and do what it takes to get that. So the book, Winning the Inner Game, I say that the brain is the customer service center of the body. If you're not right here, you ain't gonna be right anywhere. So I can train you all day long. You be the most physically fit, the best in whatever sport you are. But if up here, the moment you're challenged, you crumble. The moment you don't win, you weep. And all those things happen, and you start to ask yourself, am I good enough for this space? Do I belong here? When you start thinking those things, it's okay. But when you start believing those things, it's a danger. But we really get in trouble when you start acting out on those beliefs. So it starts with the thought, and then the belief, and then acting out on those things. That's where we're really in deep water. And a lot of what's happening is the fact that we're believing a lie. And we're believing things that absolutely aren't true and don't have to hold and suppress us down, especially for the kids, like you said, I would say 35 and under. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things where the society, how it's set up right now, is just like, if it's too tough, I just walk away and find something else. If it's given too much pushback, I'll just leave it and move on to something else. No, I want everyone to be able to have the ability to fight and to know that you belong and to know that you can do it. And when I need help, I ask for it. I seek it. And even when I don't ask for it, if it presents itself, I welcome it. So that's what mental toughness is to me.
I love that. I love that. Real quick, tell us where you got that book, and then run into what inspired you to write the book.
So again, I didn't write it for myself. I wrote it because people were asking me to, both by articulation of words spoken and by deeds done. What I mean by that was I saw a lot of those same things that we talked about, the behaviors manifesting in actions. And again, as you know, because you and I talk about it all the time, adults learn from conversation, children learn from observation. So when I'm having a conversation with a child, oftentimes there's a disconnect they don't understand. It goes over their head. But when I show them, when I demonstrate, when I remind them about a behavior or thing that they did, if they see something played out, now they can understand, they can draw a connection to it, because I get it now. You see what I'm saying? So I was seeing a lot of different things, and I was like, that right there, we need to do better with that. When I used to say, hey, when you have your elbow back and you're going for a swing, you're not getting enough power, it just didn't connect with them. I had to show them. We had to go through it. I had to pause and make them see it in the moment. Thus came the saying, if you can't feel it, you can't fix it, which is one of the tags that God gave me. And once you do, self-assess, self-correct. Because I want you to be able to do things by paying attention and putting things in plans and actions in place without me being there to tell you all the time, this is where the problem is, this is where the solution lies. I want you to be an independent thinker, to think about what's going on, mentally be able to tap into that thing and say, I can do better, I know how, and if I don't know how, I know where to go to get the help. So mental toughness kind of goes all into this whole thing. And again, it's just winning the inner game, but it's also mastering mental toughness for peak performance, right? So again, you have to be able to be sound in mind and judgment in order for us to make good decisions in anything. So again, one of the things that I always tell my kids and my parents is, I don't teach volleyball lessons, I teach life lessons using volleyball. Because that's the only space that these kids will give me to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And we talk on the volleyball court, most times words never spoken, but deeds and actions done. So again, we can get the book through my website, which is again, emailing me or going on Instagram and, just different spaces where we can find the book. Just put up Grayhound Group and you'll be able to find it and purchase through Lulu, which is why I went. I did the book independent. I didn't go through one of the major, things, but I had some amazing help of the kids expressing, I need. And this book was literally written for them by them.
I love that. So we'll put all your Instagram and everything. We'll tag it with the video so people can definitely find that. So really quick. So my next question was, why do you believe your approach has proven effective across multiple disciplines and environments?
Again, because I ask what they need and they show me or tell me. And again, I don't come with an agenda and try to superimpose, I think you need this, or this would be good for you. We have dialogue, we have conversation, both words spoken and deeds done. I will see to something and I'll be like, have you ever thought, how about you try it this way? You see what I'm saying? Or when I hear something that's off-putting and they're speaking something, negativity, affirm yourselves. No, that's not what we're gonna do. I help to teach them to speak life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. My favorite book in the world is the Bible. My favorite coping skill is prayer. So we talk about those things. When they ask me what it is that I do, I tell them openly. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Christian. I don't force faith, but I don't run away from it either if the question and the opportunity arises. So again, we talk about those things openly on the court. Literally, kids will never, ever, ever a day in their life want to play basketball, football, run track, or volleyball, but they know that they need to get stuff off their chest. So they will book a session with me so they can talk while in their craft of whatever sport it is that makes them comfortable, or a hobby or passion, and they're dumping. Versus they tell me they would much rather do that than book a therapy session, to sit in an office, to talk to a stranger and be uncomfortable in a space that they want them to be. So I say, hey, come.
That's
I'm not gonna turn you down. I'm not gonna say no to you. But if I do see a need that's greater than what I can provide, you agree that we are gonna together call a professional therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or someone greater to help you to get to where you need to be. So I'm a coach. I'm literally a mental health coach. I'm your cheerleader. You got this. You can do this. I help you, come alongside you. I don't give you all the answers. We do it together, and I cheer you on. You got this. I'll give you, input. I'll give you feedback. I'll give suggestions, but you are on your journey. I'm helping you through it. And that's what coaching is. I take you from where you are to try to help you to be a better version of yourself for the future, where therapy talks about the past and what prevented you and some pitfalls and some traumas and whatever that made you show up to where you are today. So I talk about right now to make you better for the future, and I coach you along the way, just like a basketball coach would. Mental health, we do the same thing.
I love that. And this is the last question I want to touch on is, I know you personally, so I know you do a lot of things outside of just your mental health and the Grayhound group. Can you touch on a little bit of how you impact the community, what you do out in the community, because you do a lot of things. But what else what really stands out that you say you want to bring up here on this session?
Awesome. So we started off talking about my journey and how I started off wanting to find out what was wrong with me. So I went into the child psychology space. So I'll finish that story where I didn't stay in that space, because when my ADHD was something that I finally realized, at the same time God said that, you know what, this is not where I want you. So child psychology is a lot of memorization, which I struggled with. I needed something with application, so I pivoted into occupational therapy. So I'm an actual graduate, an OT grad, so I'm an occupational therapist. And in that, I studied the mind very heavy, but I also did the body, which speaks to where I am today as well. So I'm an occupational therapist. I also was a teacher, so I taught in the DC public and private school system. So I have that as well as part of the background from, again, my mom fostering a wonderful, caring, teaching, nurturing background. So I went into that. Sports was big and near and dear to my heart. So that came natural and that came easy. So out of those things allowed me to now build my brand, which is my namesake, the Grayhounds. And I am a mental health coach. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a sports performance coach. And I work with contract with wonderful places like Promise Youth Development. Shout out to Mama T and Promise Youth Development, PYD, where I do the same thing in circles. We sit down and we have conversations. We work with kids who are struggling with the juvenile system and help them understand community and engagement by way of having police officers literally in the class with us, exchanging, asking questions on why you do this in our community, and having the police officers understand the black and brown struggle and what it is, why we think it, and we teach them about the dangers of it to help them make more conformed and safe decisions. I'm also, again, we have a ministry at the church where we feed the homeless, and we're out in the community teaching and supporting and helping. So I'm doing all of these things, one, because I want to give back. Two, because I understand what it was to want help, to need help, and not get any help. So I want to be able to show up for those same kids. And it's, again, a passion and a love of mine that I'm here, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that if they are needing and wanting, you can find it in Coach Ray. And if I can't provide it for you, I know a place or I know someone who can.
And the last reason is because you got ADHD and you gotta do a whole bunch of things.
That too. I have to stay busy. I gotta stay moving.
Oh man, well I appreciate you just giving me a little bit about your story, what you do, and how you impact the community. It's truly inspirational, and I hope someone can get inspired by your story. Know that mental toughness is one of the key things that they need to keep pushing, and that your past doesn't define you. It just leads you on a path to be able to accomplish what you want to be able to accomplish.
Absolutely.
I know, I'll just put this in there. I know we talked recently and how much freedom you have now, just from being able to build a business and expand, and be able to really curate the life you want, not just working a 9 to 5, but
Absolutely.
starting your own business, helping people, living out your passion. So I really appreciate you. And like I said, it's an honor just being able to interview you. So
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you.
awesome.
All right. Peace.
Oh, that was awesome.